Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at a second Cipherbot. This one is also kind of military style vehicles and it's numbers 5 through 9. So when I did the first review for these, I really didn't know too much about this toy line. Just kind of something I randomly saw on Amazon and I decided to go for it because it looks fun. I've kind of been looking around because I had so much fun with the first one, and it looks like there's two different ones that are vehicles. There's another two that are dinosaurs. Apparently they're just all called Cipherbot, so it's not hard to distinguish them in kind of video descriptions and whatnot, but here we go. We're going to do a second one of these. I think these are pretty fun. It looks like they have a robot mode. They have kind of like a large carrier mode as well. If we spin around to the back, you can see the individual modes. Some of these are better than others. I felt like with the first one, all 5 were pretty solid. Like, yes, the truck in the middle looked a little goofy, but we have an ambulance. This one just says rocket launcher, and it's just kind of like the 8 on the floor with the rockets up. This one's a little truck, which isn't too bad. This one's an ATV. And then the ammo tractor, I don't know. It just looks like a large rectangle with wheels in the back, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But the combined robot mode looks pretty cool, so hopefully that should be fun. Not too much going on the side, just kind of breaks down the 5 vehicles for you. Over on this side, just the 5 numbers. I believe the addition symbols, the math symbols over here are exactly the same as the first pack. We'll take a look at that, but I believe they're exactly the same 5 ones, just in different colors. So that's going to do it for the packaging. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the 5 numbers out of the box. Just wanted to do a quick group shot before we got into the individual transformations. Have a nice assortment of colors here. And then, of course, we have the 5 math symbols, just like the previous set. Subtraction, equal signs, multiplication, addition, and division. They are exactly the same pieces as the previous set. They transform exactly the same. So we'll get through that a little bit later. And then these are just a mixture of kind of a spring green and really bright orange. So we'll put those off to the side. Let's go ahead. Let's get started with number 5. So 5 transforms into a little truck, and being bright blue kind of reminds me of a little bit of pipes from Transformers. So these pieces here will swing around and peg in up here, and you can see that's going to kind of form the top of the cab of the truck. The little grill here will slide up. This piece will flip up, spin around 180 degrees, and then fold back down. And then these 2 pieces on the side are going to flip up, and you can see that that kind of forms the rest of the truck. You have the wheels there. You have all this nice silver paint here for kind of like the doors and a little bit more detail. And then this piece in the back will flip around like so. And that's going to be for a connection later. Well, really 2 different connections later on. And you have this star painted on the top. It's a very basic little cab, but I think he works. Alright, number 6 turns into an ambulance, and this one's kind of complicated, but we'll see how it goes. So you're going to flip this panel back on either side. This is going to lift up, and then this piece is going to completely just pop out. And you can kind of put that off to the side for the moment. So this is all going to pop up here and peg into place, and this kind of forms the front of the ambulance here. Next, you're going to kind of open this up, and these will kind of swing out to the side. This will drop inside, making sure you clear the wheels first. And then this will come in, and you can see this peg right here will peg in right there. And then this will pop up, this will swivel around, and then these 2 pieces will peg into each other. So there's pretty much your ambulance, and I think this looks really, really good. They tell you to take this piece and peg it in on the top here. Now, you can do that if you want. It's like a storage, but I think that looks really ridiculous, so I kind of just like to leave it off. I just think this is a much more successful ambulance without this big piece. I'll be honest, you don't even really use this for the combined robot mode. This is really just something they didn't know what to do to make it look like a 6, so that's what this is. I mean, if you want to pretend it's a gun or a weapon or something, but most of the time you're just jamming it somewhere. I think in the robot mode, you store it here. So it really just always sits off to the side. It's kind of a worthless piece. So if you want to pop it on here for storage, you can. If you like the look of the more kind of clean looking ambulance, you can just leave that on there. I guess for now I'll just pop it on here, but there's the ambulance. Rolls decently. And I forgot to mention the truck. He only has 2 wheels, so he doesn't really roll all that well because he has no back wheels, but not really anything you can do there. This guy actually rolls pretty decently. I think it looks pretty good as an ambulance. A lot of nice detail. The paint applications look good. I like the orange windows. I think that really pops. I like the little first aid cross there. Yeah, all in all, it looks really, really cool. All right, next up we have number 7, which is called the Ammo Tractor. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. So you open this up, this swings down. These pieces swing around. Which side opens up? This right here. This swings around. This pegs in here. This one's really, like, surprisingly complicated for just turning into a rectangle, I gotta be honest. These panels up here separate and kind of slide out like so. Then you're going to flip these out. And it can be kind of confusing because, like, parts look like they don't move, and it's just because it's like a thinner just panel that moves. You're thinking it might split down the center, but it doesn't. So then you're going to flip these wheel pieces out. And then this will come down and peg. Actually, does that do that? This spins, and then this comes up like that. And I think this splits open. Yeah, here we go. So this actually comes back down. So this stays here. This tabs into this. Like so. And then these come down and peg in on the sides here. And then this is just kind of like a little hitch that hangs out the back. And yeah, this is your ammo tractor. It's, oh no, the wheel fell back in. It's just, it won't stay in my hand. Come on now. It's a little goofy. The wheels don't want to stay out. And it really just kind of looks like a rectangle, but it is meant to combine with the truck. So you can see that there's a peg here. Now, this peg is a little too big for this because this is a connection for the robot later, and they didn't make this big enough. So it will connect, but it kind of splits the plastic a little bit. So be careful because you can see it's starting to split there, but it does make like a trailer. So that makes more sense to me. That's why this thing isn't very exciting, because it's just meant to be a trailer for this. And because of that, it's kind of neat. You can actually combine all 5 of these into like one big giant trailer, which we'll do a little bit later. So I'll leave these 2 connected for now. But I think that's kind of neat. I like that they connect. I wish that this was the right size so it didn't split the plastic, but at least it will connect, and it doesn't appear to be breaking it. Just be careful with it, but that's pretty cool. Next up we have number 8. I love the teal color. He is a big chunky boy, as you can see. Very nice solid plastic. It feels pretty good. This is rocket launcher. There's really not too much going on here. These are going to lift up. This is going to flip around like so. And then this flips out like this. And then you're supposed to lift these up. I don't really know what purpose this serves, but this flips around. I guess just to transform it in some capacity. And then you're going to flip out the rockets. And that's it. That's rocket launcher. So I guess it's just like some kind of, you know, salvo, like some kind of station on a base or something, just to fire rockets as defense. That's really all there is to this. Not super exciting. Last but certainly not least, we have number 9. This is going to become an ATV. This one's pretty simple. You're going to flip this out. Now you have to pop these wheels down. They will actually descend. These front 2 are a little difficult to get something in here to pop these out. It felt like it was going to click, and then it clicked back. There we go. So you have to kind of get that. You can see how it clicks down, because it won't roll otherwise. It doesn't clear the bottom. So if we can get this out, there we go. And then you just bring these down and they will peg in. And then we open up this section. This is going to fold down, peg into place, and just kind of accordion in on itself. This is going to come down. This will peg in as well. These are much easier to get down because there's not as big of a lip, so you can grab a hold of the wheel and push it down. It'll snap into place. You're almost done. At this point, you want to flip this out, and I usually have trouble with this, so what I like to do is just kind of get like a tool or something to kind of just hook the edge of this so I can pop this out. This will swing around and peg in right there. It usually snaps in a little better than this. There we go. And then this section flips up, this flips around, and then back down. And there's your little ATV. Rolls pretty well. It's definitely chunky. I'm assuming maybe you could sit a figure on here if you really wanted to, but yeah, he works and he rolls pretty well. All right, and then we'll do all the math symbols real quick. So you have the subtraction, you flip these out for your toes. Same thing with the equal sign. There we go. For the chest plate, you're going to pop this out. This is going to flip around. This guy actually has storage for this piece, which I appreciate, and I'll show that off a little bit later. For the first gun, you're going to slide this back like so. This piece is going to flip around, and then the handle will flip out like that. And then for the last one, we're going to take these pieces off because these will be the hands. This is going to fold out. This is going to flip around, and then that will pop this to flip around. And then there is a little handle down here. And there you go. So there are our two guns, our hands, and honestly, we could probably just put these in now. Well, I'll wait. The 2 feet and then the chest plate. So we are all ready to start forming the combined robot. Okay, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we do the combined robot, let's show off the combined trailer mode. So we're going to take the rocket launcher piece, and this is going to peg in to this big connection right here, to this big circle on the back. So this will drop on here and peg in, and these wheels really just want to keep folding up underneath. And they're really driving me nuts. Stay down here, wheels. Come on. Come on. So there we go. So that pegs in there. This, you're going to take this front piece on the ATV and flip this back around underneath so that you have this tab here. So that can tab onto this piece here on the little hitch. And that will tab in there, and it just kind of tows it behind. And then you're going to take this piece off, and then you're just going to drop him right there. And they just sit there. So there you go. You have a combined trailer, which I think is pretty cool. The only one that's not really pegged in is this guy, but he fits there, and he's not really going anywhere. I don't think. He's kind of caught in between. All right, well, he proved me wrong. I don't think there's a way. Maybe you could tab this into one of these little panels here. No, I don't think it's not far enough down to click. So he just kind of sits there, but it's still pretty cool. I like that it has a like combined vehicle mode as well as a combined robot mode, so I think that's pretty fun. The other one does not have that, so that is definitely something that this one has over the previous set. All right, now we are ready to start forming the combined robot. So we're going to start over here with the ATV, which is going to become one of our legs. We're going to take this panel on the front here, and we're going to flip this back around and down. Now, it's up to you. If you want to put this away, you can. It just kind of makes for a little bit cleaner leg, but it doesn't really matter. You can leave it out. You can push it back in. You can push the wheels in if you want. I think I'm going to because, again, I just think it makes for a little bit more of a cleaner robot mode. But, again, you can leave them out. It really doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is flip this panel away and then open this up. And this is a little difficult to unpeg sometimes. It really likes to get in there. And then you can see that there is a peg that you stand up, and then this will actually go back down over top. And then that will just stick through there. And then you take one of these. Actually, I think it's the... For some reason, they're a little different. Like the spacing of the pegs you can see is a little different. So that's how you know which one to use for which foot. So he uses the equal sign. So there's that. This guy, you just turn like this. And again, if you want to clean this up a little bit, you could spin this around and put this back in. It really doesn't matter. You can just peg this right in here, and there is your other foot. Next up, the two arms. So we're going to take this. This piece comes down. This flips around and pegs up here. This piece flips around and snaps in place down here. And then they want you to just take this and peg this on here for storage. Again, it serves no purpose, this piece. It literally just hangs around in whatever mode you're in. And then we're going to take a fist and peg that in here. Now, one thing I wanted to note, the box has the arms switched from the directions. So I don't think it matters if you want this to be the right arm. If you want it to be the left arm, you would just switch the fist. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I'm going to go with what the directions say as opposed to the box. But I don't think it matters. I think the hand should be interchangeable, and I don't really think it makes a difference. So next up, we can go ahead and clean this guy up a little bit. So we will open this up. Okay, or apparently just pull this right off. Luckily, this happens from time to time. It was the same with the other set. You just snap it back on. So I can close up the wheels, since that's where they want to go anyway. And then I can bring this in and close this back up. Pretty much like you're changing it back to the number 7. But you want to leave these out. Does this want to peg into the side? It should. Yeah, there we go. So leave that open like that. And then really you just do this. You can close these up just to kind of solidify this. Then we will take the other hand and peg that in. And there you go. There is your other arm. So we have our 2 arms all set to go. All right, up next we have Rocket Launcher. This is just the core, as you might have expected. So we were going to bring these pieces down here as a skirt, and they'll kind of come together. For these, now this is something that I think is a little weird. The way the hips work on this, it almost makes it look like it's misassembled, but I don't think so because it has to be this way to close it back up into the number 8. But the directions tell you to bring this up and put it all the way up and then bend it at a 90-degree angle. Well, you can't do that because you can see here that the connection doesn't go that far. The channel isn't wide enough to make this, or doesn't extend deep enough down to do a full 90-degree angle. So you kind of just bring this until it like logically stops because it hits the wall right there, and then you can bring this down. Now it's going to be far enough. You don't need it to go any farther than that. But just so you're not breaking the thing, because the directions definitely tell you to kind of bring this all the way up and then bend this piece 90 degrees so that it sticks straight down. And again, you just can't do that. It's just not possible. So you're going to do it to about there. You're going to close up the skirt piece. And I mean, like I said, that works. That's far enough. It's not going to be a problem. There is a robot head in here. It's a little difficult to get out, but you can do it. There we go. And that's going to click in place. And I really like the design. They did a really good job with the paint applications. I think the silver looks nice. The orange eyes look really good. No head articulation, which is a bummer. Now with these, if you want, you can leave them back here. If you like that look, if you don't want them to be deployed all the time, you can certainly do that. Or if you want, you can bring these around and have the missiles out as like shoulder cannons for him. So I like both looks, honestly. I'm going to leave these out. But I do appreciate that you have the option there. I think that's really cool. And as I mentioned previously, you have storage for this. So you can take this. Now the directions tell you to peg this into one of these holes here on the side. So you could have it hang down like that. You could, or you could swivel it around. I kind of like to do it like this. It doesn't peg in on the top, but I just feel like it's a little bit more out of the way. But at least it has storage for this piece. Because with the other set, I'm always just kind of holding this around somewhere because there's nowhere to put it. So I really appreciate that that stores on the back. You're going to take the chest plate and you're going to peg it into these 2 spots right here. So that is going to peg in. Now, this does have the faction symbol here, but it's not on any of the other robots. Like, the first set, every robot had the faction symbol somewhere. I've looked around. These don't have it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just mine. Maybe they missed a paint application, or maybe some releases had it, some didn't. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that's weird. The individual numbers do not have the faction symbol. But there we go. We have our torso all ready to go, so let's put this guy together. All right, so first up we will attach the 2 legs. It's very simple. You just peg them in. Even easier than the last set. The last set was fine, but this is just one simple peg. So there you go. There are our legs. Let me shift this back up. Now here's one thing I don't really like. I don't really like how the arms connect. Because you're probably asking yourself, where's the connection? It's actually this. So these pegs peg onto that. And it kind of works, but it's also kind of weird. But I mean, I guess it's functional, but you're not going to get any kind of articulation other than the swivel. The other one had the ability, like the hinge could kind of give you like a little bit of a butterfly joint. It wasn't much, but it was something. You're definitely not going to get that with this one. And it's just it's a weird connection. Like I said, it works, but it's definitely weird. But yeah, here is our robot. I think he looks pretty good. Doesn't really have a ton of kibble or anything. Articulation wise, like I said, nothing in the head. You can move the rockets around a little bit like I showed before. You can store it on the back. You can swivel this. You do have a decent amount of hip movement here. So you have a hinge there. You have a thigh swivel. You have these like knees, I guess, that can go both ways. So you can kind of swivel this around if you want to try to do something like that to kind of space his legs out. Without ankle joints, you know, it's going to not really sit level, but you could do something like that just to kind of make it look a little bit spaced out so he's not just completely standing straight. So you get a lot of nice articulation there. Plus, because of the way these connect, you technically can swivel down here as well. So if you want to swivel like right above the connection point. So you have a lot of nice options there. I think that's cool. You got a lot of hip movement, a lot of articulation there in the legs. Obviously, from the connection down, it's just a block, but he looks good. I think he's a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and give him his guns. Now, the way these are, you can't really switch the guns. So, like, this one has to peg in here because, as you see, it kind of is meant to fit, like, right in that negative space. And then this one kind of has to peg in here because with the way these pieces hang on them, you can't really switch them out. But he can use both guns. He's got his shoulder rockets. The color combination is fun. I like him a lot. I really do. I'm going to kind of put the legs back so he can stand up. Let me bend this. There we go. And then just because we got to do a comparison with the other one, I think they both look really good. I think I really do like the torso for this one more. I really like the color scheme. I like the head sculpt better, and I love the shoulder rockets. I just think it gives him a little bit more character. This guy's missing something. Like the head's a little too small. You know, he needs something in this area. Otherwise, he's great. I really like him a lot. And unfortunately, you can't really mix and match the pieces because of the way they connect. The leg connections here are different, and the shoulder connections are different. So you're not going to be able to mix and match any limbs, which is a bummer. But they both look really cool. These are both, you know, I think these sets are meant to complement each other because they're both like vehicles, and that this is 0 through 4 and this is 5 through 9, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, they look really cool together. I like it. So I think these sets are super goofy and a ton of fun. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of numbers that turn into vehicles, which then turn into a combiner robot. It's just wacky in all the best ways. So I think they're a lot of fun. It's around $20 on Amazon, so I think the price is right. I mean, you have the number modes, you have the individual vehicle modes. This one even has a combined vehicle mode, and then you get the combined robot mode. Some of the vehicles on this one are a little bit less successful than the last set. The ATV's all right. The truck's okay. It's the rocket, you know, rocket launcher and the carrier ammo carrier, whatever that thing's called. This one's a little bit more forgiving when you realize that it's meant to combine with the truck as a trailer, because this one only has one set of wheels and this one only has one set of wheels. So on their own, they don't really work. But as a truck and trailer combo, I think it's kind of neat. Now, the problem is because this connection point was made to work with this, it's a little too big for this. It does still connect, but just be careful because it looks like it's starting to pull the plastic apart. But it is kind of neat to have a truck and trailer combo there. The rocket launcher, there's not really much going on for that. I mean, it's meant to be the torso, and I think the torso looks great. I love the shade of green. I think the head sculpt looks fantastic for the robot. It's big enough. I love the orange eyes. I love the rocket missiles on the shoulders. I think all that looks really, really cool. So I think as a robot, he's very successful, and they kind of sacrifice the alt mode a little bit because of that. But he's got a lot of nice articulation in the hip area. The arm connection is a little weird, but it works. It's functional. As long as nothing breaks over time, that should be fine. It's a fun set. Like I said, the price is definitely right for around $20. There's a lot to do with this, and like I said, it's just goofy in all the right ways, and I love it. So I probably will end up looking into the 2 dinosaur sets. Like I said, I feel like this complements the previous one I did because the numbers range from 5 to 9, when the other one was 0 to 4, and they're both vehicles, kind of military-style vehicles. So I feel like these two go together. And I've looked online and I've seen another set of 0 to 4 and 5 to 9 that are both dinosaur related. So I might have to check those two out. But yeah, this guy's fun. I definitely recommend picking him up. Like I said, if you want something just goofy, fairly inexpensive to kind of mess around with and transform, I think these number sets are definitely the way to go. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.